Dillan Fernando joins us for this episode of What's Next. He is the Chief Executive Officer at Tracker. Dillan was appointed as Chief Executive Officer of Tracker on the 1st of July of 2025, so it's almost a year that he's been in this position. He is a seasoned global executive with a strong foundation in sales and marketing and a track record of driving business growth, strategic transformation, and consistent performance delivery. Dillan, welcome to What's Next. Thank you very, very much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much indeed for having me.
Dillan, let me first ask you, Tracker talks about care as a core part of its purpose. Now, as CEO, what does putting customers at the center look like in practice?
It's a wonderful start. Thank you for having me this morning. I appreciate it. I think you start with a super question, and that's about our customers and putting them at the center of everything we do. I don't want to use the words necessarily customer-centric, but that is what we are as an organization. So how is that practically achievable to us? So if you look at how I behave and how the organization behaves, I'm out on the road every week, not just talking to our customers, but going to the various sites, meeting with our people, making sure that they're engaged with our customers, actually meeting with the customers on a face-to-face basis, understanding what their requirements are, understanding what they want to do next, where technology needs to be, and really what they're looking to do to improve their business. So practicality for me is being in front of the customer, and that's what I do on a weekly basis.
Tracker has long focused on both recovery as well as protection. I mean, I remember from the days flying in the helicopter, and we were part of your recovery team, picking up a stolen car and picking up the signals.
Right.
But you've really transformed since then. How have real customer experiences shaped how that approach has evolved over time?
So, Aki, if you look at where we were in the past, we had a very strong B2C presence. We are now present across all industry segments, whether it's B2B or B2C, or whether it's the individual or a small SME, for example. And that ability to be in front of the customer and ask them questions. What is it that is important to you? Not what's important to us, what's important to you, so we can drive that narrative, is the important part of how we have changed as an organization. So if I look at product, for example, Aki, the ability for us now to have a range of cameras, for example, from something that's very reasonable and cost effective to something that is a little bit more expensive, if that's the right word, or more achievable for your requirements, because people are looking for different things in different facets of what they need as a camera. That kind of conversation goes on. They don't necessarily need a camera that's just forward-facing or rear-facing to you. They may look for lots of other things as part of a camera alternative. So we now have a plethora of different products which serves all types of industries, and cameras which do a whole host of different things, if I mention cameras. Our product portfolio has changed completely. So although we've always have been a very strong organization focusing on the B2C type industries, we are now focusing on different aspects of the market, different parts of the market. And we're able to do that now with different product ranges, the way we look at how customers react, technology, data, the ability to give those customers data that's really meaningful and usable going forward.
Now, Tracker often speaks about delivering solutions that matter. How do customers' needs help you decide which problems are worth solving next?
Most customers have relatively the same problems. So it's that 80-20 rule. 80% of your customers have 80% of the same problems. So if I look at the data narrative, for example, and what we've done in data, we have hundreds of millions of data points per day. So when a customer says to me, provide me with data, the answer is absolutely. What data do you actually want? And that's fundamentally the difference in the way we're approaching our customer-centric approach to talking to our customers. We will now give them data specifically tailored to their requirements. And so it's really about that next step, as you've asked, what comes next? Well, the what comes next conversation is, what do you actually want? We can provide it to you. In the old days of just saying, here's a file, it's got lots of information, you pick and choose what you want, have gone. We are providing tailored solutions to make sure that every customer we talk to, whether it's on a B2C perspective and somebody wants a simple camera in their car, or whether it's on a B2B perspective and they want a whole plethora of different options, we are then able to provide those different options to them because we understand what they're asking for.
That's fantastic. Are you able to share an example of a customer need that directly influenced a recent tracker innovation?
So for example, our cameras now come with a alcohol monitoring system as part of the higher end range of product that we have. So a gentleman or lady or a driver gets into a car. The ability, as we are speaking right now, in the old days when I was growing up, to monitor alcohol testing, you'd have to blow into a little tube on the dashboard, and that would register whether you've drunk alcohol, whether you were over the limit, and whether the car or the truck would start. That's not the case. Now, as part of our camera portfolio, should you decide to go in that particular direction of wanting an alcohol monitor, the simple act of breathing as you get into the car will monitor whether you are now over the limit or not. Whether you're over the alcohol prescribed limit within the country that you're driving in. And then that will send a note back to your headquarters to say, gosh, we have a problem. Somebody's either had a drink the night beforehand or is still over the limit, or has just had a drink and is over the limit, and there's a problem with that. So that has directly influenced how we have approached safety within the cab, within the environment, and then therefore, obviously, for our customers moving forward.
Dillan, how does Tracker ensure new technologies are not only advanced, but genuinely useful and easy for customers to engage with?
The customer. And that's a great question. But it also goes back to what I talked about earlier. It's not just about dumping information on customers. It's not just about giving them huge amounts of options, which we now have as an organization. It's about helping them source the right alternatives for them. So when we talk to customers, it's not about saying, here's a price of a camera or a tablet or a phone or a tracking device. It's about saying, what exactly do you want and what is important to you as an organization, and how do you measure that? Aki, if I can bring up the point I made earlier, we have hundreds of millions of data points per day. I can provide you with a file of how you're driving. That's actually, in many ways, there is some use behind that. But if you're not going to use it, what am I doing providing it to you? What I need to be doing is having a conversation with you as an organization and say, what is important? What drives your bottom line? What drives safety for you? What makes sure that your driver is going to a particular location if that's what you need them to? What is an individual, if I'm in the B2C market, for example, if I get into an accident, is the camera facing in the right direction to make sure that I am protected? I can pass that through to my insurance organization and all the other things that go through that process. So we will talk to our B2C as well as our B2B customers and ask them, what are they actually looking for? And hopefully point them in the right direction with the right information.
Now, you've often spoken about the importance of culture at Tracker. What kind of organization are you deliberately building right now?
First and foremost, a customer-centric one. I think you were very elegant in the comment you made earlier, and that's, without customers, we don't have a business. So unless we are focusing on our customers and unless we are focusing on their requirements and their needs, we don't have a business. I also mentioned earlier about the fact that it's not about what we want, it's about what our customers want. So when we go out and launch new products, yes, there are lots of new products being launched at the moment, but they are to directly influence and help our customers plug up the gaps fundamentally of where in the past they've gone in a specific direction because they've had to, because we've had a limited product range. Now that is not the case anymore, where we will have a complete product range. They can actually pick what they want. So we are fundamentally customer-centric. It's a ubiquitous term, but if we are not looking after our customers, we do not have a business.
So it's quite interesting to see how Tracker has evolved and where you are today. And you're a technology company, as you say, technology first, and then everything else comes in place. Technology playing in the automotive sector, perhaps, but you're basically tracking anything. So when somebody looks at Tracker as an organization and says, well, that's a company that I could work for, why should somebody building a career in
Right.
technology or customer experience see Tracker as an aspirational place to work for?
Because Tracker's a technology company. The ubiquitous older days of being a tracking company is still what we do. But fundamentally, we are a technology company, and we will continue to propagate that narrative. Fundamentally, Aki, if we do not invest and do not believe in our own technology going forward, whether that is assets monitoring and then being able to report and for us to give customers information from that report, or whether that's us driving new systems, whether that's through API, whether that's through agnostic systems, we are a technology company. We cannot compete in this day and age by just having, here is a tracker. That doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for our customers. So if it doesn't work for our customers, we don't fundamentally we don't have a business. So we have to do the right things to drive technology, whether it's AI, whether it's intuitive learning, whether it's the ability to predictive learning. A lot of our systems now, in fact, many of our systems now are driving in that direction. The other thing I want to mention, Aki, is that it's just not about having a tracking unit, as I mentioned just a little while ago. We are an end-to-end supplier. So if I come to you and you want a cell phone and you want a tablet and you want a camera that goes in your own car and you want the ability to track the unit and the car, if you want an engine monitoring system, if you want fuel monitoring, all that is linked. We are end-to-end now. It is not about having one product line and saying, we hope our customers go in that direction. Far from it. If you come to us, we will provide you with an end-to-end solution and provide you the data to be able to analyze that solution afterwards. So if we are aggressively, if you look at our website right now, aggressively employing IT and engineering folks to be able to drive our business forward.
Now, as Tracker continues to grow, what will never change? What's a non-negotiable about how you show up for your customers and your people?
What will never change is our ability to be in front of the customers on a face-to-face basis. My sales team, my engineering team, our folks in general are simply outstanding. And if we don't put the customer at the heart of everything we do, you've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again, we don't have a business. I am out on the road talking to a plethora of different people so I can understand what to do next. We talked about technology. No point me guessing at stuff. If our customers are going in one direction, I'm going another because that's intuitively what I think, that's the wrong way to do things. What will never change is our ability to talk to our customers. What will never change is our ability for us as an organization to be in front of people and understand what comes next. So it's not just about now having a completely different set of products that we're talking to our customers and prospective customers about. It's about having the right technology. It's about having the ability to talk to them and making sure that when they want to move things along 10 steps further, we are with them. It's not about driving a specific conversation just because that's what we need. It's about making sure we understand what our customer wants to be with them now and into the future.
Fascinating indeed, and certainly a very refreshing outlook to your organization. Congratulations, Dillan. Wishing you lots of luck. Dillan Fernando is the Chief Executive Officer at Tracker, joining us for this episode of What's Next.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.